after taking Swiss Kriss for so many days to tell you guys some of the bad things that I experienced or that one may experience taking Swiss Kriss. So definitely number one would be the middle of the night poops. I have been taking, for the first week, I took my Swiss Kriss a little earlier than bedtime. I took it like at 8:30. And then I would go to bed at like 11:30. So that's 3 hours that the Swiss Kriss is kind of marinating in my stomach, doing what it does before I went to bed. At that point, once I go to bed at 11:30, I usually wake up somewhere between like 4 hours later, 4 hours after I've gone to bed. And then I'm back and forth going to the bathroom, having very productive bowel movements, like surprisingly productive considering how many days I've been taking Swiss Kriss and the fact that, like, you know, my eating habits haven't changed or anything like that. Like, I'm not consuming more food, but there's so much waste and elimination coming out of my body due to the Swiss Kriss. So, you know, it's every 1 to 2 hours all night from the time that it starts. So usually, you know, I go to sleep, I'm in bed at 11:30, and then by 2:30, I'm up and I'm going to the bathroom for the first time. It's gotten to the point now where the Swiss Kriss almost feels like a routine for me. Like, I start kind of waking up a little before the Swiss Kriss is fully activated, if you know what I mean. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And I'm in the bathroom. And there's a funny point I'm gonna get to later. It's like, you know, you go to the restroom, I clean up and get back into bed, and I fall back immediately to sleep. So if you're a person that like can't handle any disruption to your sleep, maybe you might want to take the Swiss Kriss a little bit later. For me, it would be more disruptive for me if I took the Swiss Kriss later, and then 4 hours after that, I started going to the bathroom every 2 hours. Like, it would disrupt my work day and it would just be a major issue. So I prefer actually getting up in the middle of the night, having a lot of the eliminations. Now, speaking of that though, it doesn't stop there. It's not like, you know, you take the tablets before bedtime, you go to the bathroom overnight, and then you get up that morning and it's over. I have literally, you guys, been having 10, I'm gonna say 10 at a minimum, 10 movements or eliminations at a minimum. Some of them are more, they're more productive than others. You can't handle waking up in the middle of the night to figure out what works best for you. The second con of taking Swiss Kriss for me was no working out, especially like the first 5 days. The 5th day was the first day I did anything physical, and I did like a very gentle walk. I walked 2 miles, and I was like taking steps and then like having that mental check-in with myself, like, should I turn around and go home to be close to the bathroom? I've done a little yoga and things like that, but like strenuous workouts and things like that depends on the person. But I would say for me and my experience and what's happening with your body on Swiss Kriss, it might not be the best idea. You know, if you're planning like a vacation, you're getting ready to travel and things like that, unless you're going on a retreat or something specifically where you get to rest and don't have too many things to do, I would never do Swiss Kriss, like start my 14 days on when I have to fly or do any sort of long distance travel. For the fourth bad thing would be day 2 through 5. My stomach was gurgling like almost constantly. There was all kinds of things, and Ali Sadiq and others have talked about this. Joey Diaz made a lot of really funny jokes about it, but I had no idea how serious it was until it was actually happening to me. Like, you will hear sounds inside your body that are very foreign. You don't know what's happening. None of this was painful. There is what I've deemed like the Swiss Kriss urge, that it's very urgent, and it's oh God, I should have written that down. But you know, there's like the natural like contraction of your colon. You feel that a lot, and it's very, I hadn't felt it in a while. And it can be very shocking. Also, it was like anytime I got to be, when I was near food, it was like certain things, I don't know, maybe certain processes being reactivated in my body. So imagine, you know, you're sitting down to eat something and your stomach is just going like topsy-turvy. Again, it was not nausea. I want to be clear about that. So I wasn't like about to be sick, but there's unaccustomed things happening that are probably totally natural, or like my body getting back on track, but it feels so odd because you're not used to that. And then especially in the very beginning, like days 2 and 3, I'm like, do I need to use the bathroom? What actually is happening right now? And so there would be times where I would like, you know, not eat at that time, go back and forth, you know, and nothing was happening, but in terms of needing to use the restroom, but it was just the Swiss Kriss, I guess, working. And it seemed like certain things triggered, like the smell of food would trigger certain reactions in my body, my stomach, my digestive system that were just seemed odd and seemed new because I hadn't experienced them in a while. Now, I just said the gurgling was not nausea, but I did have, I don't even want to call this nausea, but I experienced, you guys, like some food aversions. But the food aversions kind of came in. So I was going to eat a bagel with real cream cheese, and it was like a cheat for me. And I literally, like, the smell of it was just, it was repulsive. I couldn't eat it. So I guess that's a good thing, technically. Like, I didn't have any aversions to things that I probably should be eating. But I had some aversions to things that were kind of iffy. I definitely had some cravings though for like fast food and things. And I think that's just my body, probably those little monsters in my microbiome. They're like, hey, you know, it's getting too clean in here. Give us something bad, right? So something else that I noticed, and we're on number 6 of 7 right now. You guys see, I started getting some breakouts right here in this area, right? And so my first thought was, okay, this is probably like purging, skin purging. So I've done, you know, juice fasts, all different kinds of cleanses before in the past. And I'm like, yeah, this is probably like I'm flushing a lot of toxins out of my system. I'm feeling so great about myself and the Swiss Kriss and what's going on. So I actually did some research online, and you guys, they said that breakouts in this area actually are usually a sign of E. coli bacteria on one's face and or dirty pillowcases. So you guys, I talked about a few minutes ago, getting up in the middle of the night, kind of waking up. You guys don't laugh, it's not funny. Do not stop right now. Kind of waking up, you know, waking up, doing what I had to do, having those middle of the night poops every 2 hours, washing up my physical body as well as my hands, I did believe very well. But apparently there's E. coli, honey, on my pillowcases. Thank you, Swiss Kriss. I woke up, but maybe I didn't wake up enough. Something's going on here. Anyway, the final 7th thing, technically bad thing, you could say it's good or it's bad. I've been having really vivid dreams. One that I remember from last night, and they're not nightmares, they're definitely dreams. I wouldn't say they're quite lucid dreams, but it's like my imagination must be heightened or something, because my dreams are very colorful and active. I'm moving around and doing things. Honey, I had in my dream last night, I was making this like mushroom tincture. I'm into stuff like that, but I've never done like a mushroom tincture specifically. And I like harvested, harvested like these wildcrafted mushrooms. I was going through the whole process. I was like a whole scientist out here, and it was amazing. And I had other amazing dreams like that too, which is really fun. It's really cool, right? And of course, we know that there is a connection between our gut and our mental health and things. So besides me feeling really positive and good lately, due to the Swiss Kriss, looks like it's, you know, cleaning out my digestive system and cleaning out my colon is having some other positive effects in other areas as well. So you guys stay tuned. I will come back again, hopefully a few more times before the end of the 14 days, just give you guys some updates on exactly what's going on. I will say right now that I am on, was this day 9? It'll be day 9 that I'm taking the tablets. Things have calmed down a lot. I'm still getting up in the middle of the night, but it's not like night 2 through 5 where I was up, 4, 5, 6 times before daybreak going to the bathroom. Now it's like 1 or 2 times in the middle of the night going to the bathroom, also throughout the day, but not as much as in the beginning. Oh, one more thing, you guys. So we know you're probably here because you saw or you heard Joey Diaz say like what kind of outrageous things he saw coming out of his body. It's all true. I'm going to tell you guys about that later. Come back for more. Subscribe.